Good morning, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Everybody hear me this morning? Starting a little bit early, but the markets are moving, so wanted to get moving this morning. So hopefully everyone can hear me. Everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me? Just one person saying yes, I can hear you will be great. Sweet. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the pound yen for a minute because obviously we had a big move down on the pound yen this morning, right? So the question I really wanted to ask this morning was, just because we had a move down on the pound yen this morning, does it change the overall trend on the higher time frames? Has this move on the pound yen changed the overall trend in the higher time frames? Yes or no? So here's the 4-hour chart, right? And I always draw my trend by just circling where it started at the beginning of my chart here and where it is now. Is it an uptrend or a downtrend? Has the trend changed on the 4-hour even with that move down? The answer is no, it has not changed. It hasn't, Derek, actually. If you do it the way I do it, where I circle where it started at the beginning of my chart right here to where it is now, it hasn't changed to me, no. The trend hasn't changed. If you circle those two right there, it hasn't changed. I'm doing it from the beginning of my chart in March 9th to where it is now. It still hasn't. It would have to cross this area here. How I do it, you may do it differently, but it would have to cross this area here and break below here in order for the trend to change on the 4-hour chart. So it may be a little bit different, but to me it hasn't. It would have to break that area there at 151.20 area. So for me it has not. Okay, so if I go to the daily chart, has it changed? No. If I go to the weekly chart, no. And if I go to the monthly chart, no. According to how I do it. Hold on one second, guys. Let me just do something real quick. Okay, so it hasn't changed for me on any of the higher time frame charts. So if that's the case, all we're doing is we're having a pullback in a higher time frame uptrend. Does that make sense to everybody? All we're doing is we have a higher time frame pullback in a higher time frame uptrend. So if that's the case, I still want to look for buys, but I want to look for buys around major support and resistance levels. So we'll see if that happens. I just added a very small position right here on it, just because I wanted to try and see if we could break above now. If we drop lower, I'll add a little bit more. And the reason I can do that is because I've planned for this trade the way I'm doing it. So I don't mind putting, because I only did like a quarter of my position or a tenth of my position at where it is right now. So I can afford to add to the position if it goes lower, if that makes sense to everybody. That's weird. Now that thing's up top. I don't know how to get this back to where it should be. So let's just do this. See if that's so weird. Now it's at the top. So I don't know how the hell that's working, but I guess we'll have to work with that today. So you guys can see the terminal up right now with the live trades we're in. And if anyone can help me on that, I don't know how you move that back down to the bottom. Oh, there we go. I just did it, didn't I? Perfect. Now we'll just move it a little bit. I'm not very smart with this kind of stuff. It's not my forte. But I definitely don't want it at the... Okay, you can see everything there. I just want to expand here and expand here. Okay, so it's not a huge trade. And it doesn't need to be a huge trade because I'm planning again on adding to the position if it goes lower. So right now, this would be what you would consider stacking positions, and I'm going to stack some positions on this and see how we go on that, because I still think it's an uptrend, obviously, but I just think we just did a pretty significant retrace on an uptrend. So I'm going to stack some positions on that. Okay, so that's why the positioning on the lot size is smaller than even what I usually do, because I'm looking to add to the position if it goes lower. Why this whole thing is a little bit goofy right now. Just trying to adjust this so I can see everything. Okay, that makes more sense. I don't see my time is off there, but well. Okay, so does that make sense? I'm trying to. I will add to the position, basically, is what I'm saying. The oil trades that we took yesterday, if you're in the group, if you took advantage of the free signals for 2 weeks, you should still be in that oil trade. If you took advantage of the signals, we did a signal on oil at 58.50. That's up 200 points. So you should still be in that. If you took that yesterday, I sent that out yesterday. I'll go to it right here. On the signals, it was oil, and it was buy oil right here. I took mine out, Jonathan. Yep, correct. I did, and because I told the people you can either take it out at 50 or you can keep it in there. But it was buy oil at 58.47. I took mine out. So obviously Jonathan is here again today. He wasn't here yesterday, and he's going to recognize any little thing. Which is fine. I said later in the day, I said move stops to plus 50, and you can take it or you can not take it out. I chose to take it out because I'm trying to build this small account. So yes, sound logic there, bud. So good job. Yeah, you were not here yesterday. I mean, I didn't hear you comment because you probably were screwing the goat you were screwing. So I didn't hear you commenting because you were probably fucking a goat with no lube. So, yeah. So I didn't see you yesterday because you were probably busy with your goat that you were screwing. So, I don't know. Maybe not, but you were probably busy fucking the goat that you like to fuck. So I'm still looking for shorts on the US 32, but we've got to get the pattern, obviously, that we look for. And so we don't have the pattern that we're looking for, so we're not going to do anything until we get that pattern. But yeah, you were probably screwing the goat that you like to screw. So, and I don't have time for your stupidity today. So. No, you don't listen very well, do you? I said that once that Rumble starts having a live streaming option, that I'm going to move over to Rumble because I hate YouTube. You don't listen very well. You honestly, you don't listen very well. I said I was going to stop YouTube when Rumble had a live streaming option. Did I not say that to the stream yesterday, everybody? Samurai, you were here. That's not exactly what I said? See, this guy just doesn't listen very well because he's not very bright. That's exactly what I said. I said I was going to do it once that there was another option for me to. You just don't listen very well. But it's not surprising because you're unbelievably dumb. So it's not surprising that you don't listen. No, it's not really what you said, but I just don't give a damn because you're stupid. So I just don't care. We're just going to do this to you today because I honestly, I don't have time for you today. I don't have time for your stupidity. So we're just going to do this to you today. We're going to put you in timeout for about a million hours because I honestly don't have time for your stupidity today. I'm so tired of your stupidity. I honestly am. Go somewhere else. So again, There's 2 people that I've ever done this to. I don't have time for your stupidity today, and you're unbelievably stupid. So we'll just put you in timeout for as long as we can, and then if you want to stay in timeout for 10 minutes and come back, you can. But I don't have time for you dumb. I don't have time for your stupidity today. I'm sorry. I'm just in that mood today that you can go fuck yourself if you're going to come in here and cause trouble. Okay, you can go fuck yourself. I'm not going to have the patience for it today. Sorry, guys, but he can go pound that goat. I'm sure it's been an hour since he's had sex with his goat, so he can go have sex with his goat again. I'm sure that'll take him an hour. So if he wants to come back in an hour, that's fine. But I'm sure there's plenty of opportunities for him to go make love to his goat. So, all right, so we're looking for sells on the US 30. If this candle closes with that, I don't know. I'm not a fan of TradingView. So, I mean, I guess I could if you really wanted to, but I'm not a fan of them, to be honest with you. I think TradingView is just, in my opinion, okay, so don't get angry, anybody. In my opinion, TradingView is just an excuse not to show people's platforms. So, hey, George, what's up? So I don't do it. That doesn't mean you can't. I never have seen the need for TradingView, honestly. I think it's an excuse people use to not have to show their platforms. Well, he's not going to be here. I mean, I'll let you guys handle it, George and A-Rod. You're here. You're the moderators for a fucking reason. So I'm just in that mood today. I'm going to cuss. I'm going to swear. I'm in that mood. I'm in the mood of I don't give a fuck. So I'll let you guys handle that. I'm looking to short the US 30, and I'm getting the candle that I'm looking for. But obviously we're not at that time now. This terminal thing is pissing me off right now. So we're going to get rid of the terminal right now because we don't need to have the terminal on. Everyone knows that we're in a trade. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ryan, man, but I'm in that mood today, brother. So I will have mercy. I will take your advice. I always take, David, like I said before, I always take fundamentals into I always have it in the back of my mind. Does that make sense? I think we were talking about this the other day. I always have fundamentals in the back of my mind, but it's not the driving force behind. I'm a technical person, but if you're going to be a full-time trader, you obviously have to have fundamentals. You have to understand the fundamentals, right, David? I mean, if you're going to be a full-time trader and you want this to be your job, part of your job is to understand everything, right? But to say, do I rely on fundamentals? The answer to that would be no, I don't. I rely on the technicals. I rely on patterns because I think the patterns repeat themselves. And so I'm going to be a person that relies on the patterns. Yeah, you have to be mindful of everything. I mean, again, people want to trade as a full-time job. If you want to trade as a full-time job, it's your job to understand everything. Man, I want this US 30 so freaking bad. Yeah, I mean, like we've talked about before. Damn, I honestly just want to take this damn thing right now, and I might just do it. We're going to give it a few more minutes because it's 15 minutes before the close. But like we were talking about yesterday, you have to understand the fundamentals. Like when oil was down at $7 a barrel, there's countries like Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia that rely on oil so that their economy doesn't tank, right? They can't afford oil to be at $7 a barrel. Yes, I can, George. So I will. Just give me a second, okay? So they can't afford to have oil be at $7 a barrel. So places like Iran will do what? They'll bomb places. Honestly, they'll bomb places in order to drive the price of oil back up, right? I tell the story all the time. I remember last January, a year ago January, my wife and I were flying to Arizona. And that was the weekend that Iran bombed U.S. bases in the Middle East. And I said, wow, oil is going to spike. And sure enough, oil spiked like on the opening $10 a barrel. So there's things that those countries will do. And if you don't think they do those things, you're nuts. Because if my economy is going down the drain, I fire a couple missiles at a U.S. base, you know, drive oil prices up. Just saying, right? So the trade yesterday was based off the candle, right? And I'm just making sure I can find, and it was at 58.50, right? Let's just go look at I'll go look at the signal real quick and I'll explain it to you guys. So the oil buy was yesterday at noon. So it was basically 21 candles ago, right? So now I'm going to have to, because I'm an idiot and not very bright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Well, that's a 4. Is that a 4? It was at 58.50. No, David, I do multiple time frame. All right, we'll go through this and we'll get to oil. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do in the morning is I'm going to go look at my 4-hour chart. That's the first chart I look at. I look at my 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart is the first chart I look at. Then I go to the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, and I want to see what the trend is, right? The only reason I'm going to the 4-hour, the daily, and the weekly, and the monthly for the most part is I want to see what the trend is. And if I can align the trend with the higher time frame trend with the 1 hour, then I'm going to take entries based off the 1 hour. But you can see right here, George, this right here on the 4-hour was basically why we took it. That would be kind of the reason. I'm going to the 1 hour. I know the candle was there and that's why we took it. I'm just trying to find the damn thing now. 58.50 was kind of, there it is right there. So that's it right there. That candle right there was the reason we took it. Okay, there was a candle that obviously had a wick tail longer than the body. I think this was the one right here, pretty close, right there. Okay, but that was a little bit higher. I think, yeah, geez. That was probably the one right there. And maybe we got in a little bit earlier than the candle closed, but that was the reason we got into it, was because of that. We had broken above that level. That's a pretty significant level at 58.50 or 58.82, right? Right there. Right, those two levels right there was pretty significant, and then it dropped below. It gave us a buy signal, and that's why we did. Okay, so and the U.S. yen was the same thing. Any time you say, well, what was the reason we took a trade in at least in this group, was because the pattern was there, right? Yep, you just solved your own problem right there, David. You just solved your own problem, didn't you? You just did it. You said, I need to close the computer after I trade or close out early. Yeah, you need to trust your analysis, right? You need to trust your analysis and then walk away from the trade. You're exactly right. This was the reason yesterday, right, David? I think right here on the U.S. yen right there. On which one? Oh, that was the U.S. 30, I think. Maybe you're asking about the U.S. 30. I'm not still in it. No. So you see the level right here? That's the reason we took the U.S. yen yesterday, was because of that candle right there. Do you see that? You see that candle right there? That's the reason we got into the U.S. yen. And then we got in at I think the signal was at 110, 114, and then stops to break even at plus 20. So everyone should have made some money on that one as well. And is there anyone that's still in oil? I'm not in oil, but is there anyone that's still in oil from the signals? Because there was 2 or 3 just kick-ass signals yesterday. So was there anyone that? Oh, it looks US 500. Okay, we can take a look at that one too. And we're about to close. But do you see that, David, or anyone that wanted to know why we took that? Do we see why we took that? The US yen yesterday, because it had the tail longer than the body of the candle, right? Nice, good job, A-Rod. That's perfect. Does everyone see why we took that UJ though? That candle right there was a perfect buy candle. You have a break above the area that we were looking at, right? It just does all this, does this, does this, does this, finally comes back, retests this, breaks a little bit low. Oh, he's back. So we'll just go ahead and do it again. He did wait. I'm proud of him for waiting the 10 minutes out of timeout, A-Rod. He's proud of you, he says. So we had that move, and then we finally pulled back to the area. We got a little bit lower than that area, and this is the fun thing I love about trading. Once it finally came to that area, it broke a little bit below, right? Broke a little bit below that area, got a bunch of people going short, and then what happened? Once it broke that area, because it had spent a bunch of time up here, right, doing this, and it broke above, doing this, came down here, broke this level right here, and what did that get a lot of retail traders to do? Okay, so you broke that level, came up, you finally retest the area that it broke, and then it dips a little bit below, and what do most retail traders do? We'll let them be after this. But what do most retail traders do when it breaks a little bit below that level that we talked about? They go short, right? They're like, crap, we better go short. And that's exactly what they want you to do. Exactly what they want you to do. They want you to do that. They suckered you into a short when that's not where you should be shorting that currency. They got you the signal right there, and then it goes up. Okay, makes its next move up. So those who went short got suckered. It's just the way it is, and that's what happens. Why I don't like trading just when it's breaking out of a range, because most breakouts are false breakouts. Now, the more times you hit that area, the more likely it is to break that area. It goes up and then it finally breaks down again. But that's why we took that one yesterday. Okay. The US 30 is looking like it's going to do what we want it to do. You said the S&P was doing what we want it to do, so let's look at the S&P. I think we're going to get a really good opportunity on these indices. I really think we're going to get a good opportunity on these indices. Holy cow, I haven't looked at the S&P for a little while. Yep, it's the same thing on the S&P. How's that working out for you? I mean, it should be working out for you great. If the GU went anywhere close to where the others have gone, it should be working out great for you, right? So it looks like the S&P is going to have that. It looks like the Dow is going to have it. We're 7 minutes away from the candle closing. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take this a little bit early, maybe. But remember, if we take the US 30 trade, where do our stops have to be? And the NAS is another one. Probably the NAS is a great alternative to the Dow, because some people don't like the Dow because it's a little more expensive to trade, right? So the NAS is also a great alternative to the US 30 if you don't want to trade the US 30. And obviously glad right now that I'm not taking it early. But where do we want our stops if we end up trading the US 30? Where do our stops have to be? Anybody want to answer that? Where do our stops have to be if we want to trade the US 30 and protect it? I want mine above the highs, right? I want mine above the high at 33,613, and I want it 40 or 50 pips or points above that. So my stop loss would have to be above that all-time high, and would have to be 40 or 50 points above that for me to be safe. Okay, so I would have it above 33,613. Or like A-Rod's saying, if you want to have it just above the wick, that's fine too. But I would have mine above that if I'm going to take it. But it looks like it's popping up again, so we may not get that opportunity, because I don't want to take it unless that tail is, or the wick, excuse me, is longer than the body. And right now it wouldn't be, right? Because you'd have the tail in the wick, and I don't want a tail in a wick. So right now I wouldn't want to take it unless in the next 5 minutes, which is very possible that it comes back down into the 75 area. because that to me is an indecision candle when it has a tail and a wick at the bottom. Well, tail at the bottom and a wick at the top. That's an indecision candle to me, and I would just rather wait for a more clear signal. And maybe we get it, right? Maybe we get it in the next few minutes, and then we smash it. But I want to wait for that. So is there anything else kind of that we're looking at that we could see that might be? Oh, we wanted to look at the NAS too. So again, if you don't like trading the US 30, because the US 30 is a beast, the NAS is a good alternate to that because it's not as expensive to trade. Okay, but the NAS actually looks like it's might be buys to the NAS. Look at that. The last two hour candles on the NAS looks like we might pop above, right? Which is interesting because now you're buying but people are saying, well, you tell people not to buy the highs and don't buy high and don't buy low. But if we just circle the NAS every time you've had that pattern and take away where it is, right? Because I don't care where it is if I get the pattern I'm looking for. And if you just circle every time you've had it with the tail longer than the body throughout this time, there's been multiple times, right? And I don't want it to have a wick at the top. So if it has a wick at the top, I don't take it. Or have a small one, but I don't want a huge one. Okay? How many times it's done that? I don't really see any other ones except for the one right there. So you have multiple times where it's done that, right? I know we're doing the drawings again, and everyone hates this. There's a reason why we do this, and you guys should be doing the same thing. How many times of these examples, before I even get to it, how many times of these examples would you have made money and would you have lost money if you would have just said, I'm going to trade it based on the tail? Yeah, and you can do that. I just don't do it on that time frame, but you can do it. I mean, if you want to do it on that time frame, that's more than. Because, well, the people that don't like me, Johnny, they don't like. They're like, I didn't learn anything from Clay. I didn't learn anything. But the reason we do this is so you guys understand the power of what this does and the signal. And it's more of a, make sure people. But I can tell you there's every single one of these. Number one, you would have won, right? And it's always just to show what the percentages are. It's just. This pattern is disgustingly accurate. And so I'm going to just walk through this, and I'm telling you that it's going to be 80 to 85%, if not better, on this one. Number one, you would have won 805 to 879. Yeah, I mean, number one is a win. Number two is a win. Number three is a win. Number four is a win. Number five is a win. Number six is a win. Number seven is a win. Number 8's a win. Number 9's a win. Number 10 is a win. I think you're 11 for 11 on that, honestly. So again, the point is, if you're going to be right more than you're going to be wrong, should there be any emotions in trading? And if it gives you this opportunity right now, you just take the opportunity, right? Isn't that what you do on the EuroCAD? Okay, I haven't tested that one, and we can take a look at it here in a minute. But the point is, if you're going to be right on this pattern 85% of the time, and you see it up here, even though it is a high, we might have the momentum to break this high, right? You take the trade because it's what the numbers say to do, right? Whether or not it's up here, because I know I don't like buying highs either, but that momentum might drive it higher, and we've been right. If you would have taken that trade based solely on that pattern on the NAS, you would have been right. Basically almost 11 out of 11 times. I'll take those numbers, right? So let's go to the EuroCAD. I don't ever trade this pair, but we can take a look at it. So again, the point is, if you're going to be right that many times, right, then if that pattern's there, you take the damn trade, right? So, which would mean I would take the damn trade right now, right? So I'll go back to the NAS here in a minute. On the 1 hour, I don't see it just because I have a tail and a wick, it looks like, George. on the 4-hour. Yeah, no, I got you. I got you. So I would wait. I would wait for a clearer signal on that. But let's go back to the NAS for a minute, because the NAS does have it, right? The NAS has it again. So the question is, do you trust the numbers? And if you trust the numbers, you just take the trade, right? If you trust the numbers, you just take the trade. So the question is, does Clay trust the numbers? Because does that have a tail and a wick longer than a body? The other one did. So does Clay trust the numbers? And I do. I trust the numbers. And if I lose, I lose. And if I win, I win. But I trust the numbers, because the numbers usually don't lie. So there it is. There it is. Now we got to figure out what my stop loss is going to be. And my stop loss I want below this right here at 33,538. So it would need to be a significant stop loss, right? It would need to be 100-point stop loss. So it would need to be 13,520. So let's go to the terminal and we'll go 13,520. Did you? Okay. Yeah, and I'm doing the same thing. I have a little bit of it on the pound yen as well, and we're already up on this. See, we're already up on the. So we could actually just set our stops now at break even on. We'll just set our stops at break even. How about that on the NAS? Because we're already up a significant amount of money for this account, right? I'm not saying significant, but we're just going to put it 13,619 because we're already up, right? I mean, there's no reason to do it any other than that. So we'll go there. There you go. Look at that. We just took a freaking trade based on the pattern, and now our stop loss is already at break even. So the haters, again, can kiss my ass because they don't do this stuff. They don't know how to do this stuff. So there you go. There's a trade for us. And it's crazy because it is, and people are like, well, you get mad at people all the time for doing that because they don't follow the pattern. If they bought those things and did it at the high, then that's fine. And I'm even going to move my stop loss now to 21, so I make money no matter what. So 13,621. That way I make money no matter what. There you go. I'm going to make money no matter what on that trade. I mean, that was quick. So this one just goes away. We don't really care about that one anymore. Let's get these charts where we can see it. We can review. Yeah, we can review whatever you want. I mean, there's not much going to happen now. We got to wait for another hour candle close, right? So we can review that. But we just took a disgusting trade right there on the NAS, right? And we got a little pop above. And our stops are in profit, so there you go. Damn it. Took a trade based on the pattern because the pattern works. Damn it. That's all there is to it, right? Okay, so now we're going to go to the. Oh, we're looking at some strange pairs today. Yeah, it's making it. Yeah, it is. It's making a really good comeback. So, and again, like you and I have talked about, man. People are going to regret not getting Jarvis, and it's going to be painful for them to get it now because I'm not going to just allow people to, you know what I mean? Just not allow people to come back and say, oh, now I want it. Well, your chance to have it was back then, and you didn't want it. So, Aussie Swiss. So it's going to be a little more painful for them to get it now, if you know what I mean, brother. Because they obviously didn't trust, and they said, oh, it's down a little bit right now, and it just sucks. So it's going to be a little bit more painful for them, to be honest with you. So on this one, this would be the pound Swiss, Aussie Swiss, right? That's the one we wanted to look at. Yeah. Okay, so obviously you're going to mark up your support levels, right, David? Your support level right there at. Support level right here, possibly, where it just touched right there. And then you're going to mark up a couple of resistance levels. This one's pretty significant. So now I know that this level here Yeah. Okay. Good. Because you're expecting it based off previous area of support, right? And that's where it kind of bounced off. And we already got. It looks like it already took us out of the other one. And you can do that. I don't ever do that because I want to be the last one to make the decision whether or not I'm in the trade or not. Because by the time that market order comes in or that buy limit or whatever, the conditions might have changed. So I've never put order entries in, and that's just me. You can do it if you want. I like to be the last person to make the decision on whether or not I'm going to take the trade. So, well, I mean, I can repost it for you, and it's still down. Jarvis is still down on it. It's not that it's up right now, but I can send it to you. I mean, it's still down a little bit, but it's making the comeback we need it to. And people were, they don't understand the long game, I guess is what I mean. I mean it initially Jarvis went up like 6%, and then it went down, and then it was down 6%. Now it's down 4% or whatever it is. But it's a long game, right? And people don't understand that. People don't grasp that concept that it's a long game. It's going to have moments where it's up, it's going to have moments where it's down, but overall, it's going to win because that's what the numbers say it's going to do. And but people don't. They get so impatient and think that if a month goes bad, that somehow the whole thing is crappy, and it's just not. That's not the case. Did it have a bad month? Yeah, it did. It had a bad couple weeks, but over the long run, we tested it over 4 years, and it was massively successful. But people are so, they're so weak-minded, I would say, and in our society, we're just instant gratification. We want everything right now. It's got to be right now. And if things take time, then people won't, you know. So people will never, they'll always criticize it, and that's fine. I'm critical of things too, but it's the crab in the bucket theory, right? When one crab starts to have success, the other crabs feel like they have to take it and drag it back down because they can't handle that people are having success, and that's fine. But there's going to be a lot of people that wish they would have stuck with Jarvis, and it's going to be more painful for them when they want to come back. So, and yes, I am saying that, and maybe you can call me vindictive. I don't give a damn because I am a little bit vindictive. You know, you want to have the freedom to mock it all you want, which is fine. That's up to you. But then don't come crawling back to me and telling me you want it. It's going to be a little more painful for you to get it back. So anyway, that's maybe me being an asshole, and that's fine. Call it whatever you want. I just don't care. All right, so that NAS, dang it, that NAS had a really big pop up for us, and then it came back, which is fine. We made a tiny bit of money on it, but it was like I should play a video for you guys. I think it's kind of freaking hilarious. But if any of you guys have seen the movie Rounders with Matt Damon about gambling, if any of you guys have seen that movie Rounders with Matt Damon about gambling, the guy comes and says, "Just like a young man coming in for a quickie, I feel so unsatisfied." And that's what these young kids today, or these traders today, they just want everything. So I know where you're going with this, brother. You know how I felt about gold. You've been with me before, so let's look at gold. You guys know how I feel about gold. Buy every freaking dip in the world, because that's what you do. Buy the dips, man. Been that way forever. If it breaks 1745, man, then the next level is 1752 if you look at the 4-hour chart, right? 1752 right there. 1752 would be your next level, right? But right now you got to bust past 1745, which is the next significant area of resistance from here, right? From March 19th, from March 25th. I wish it was March 19th. Still, I'd be in Hawaii. Can we just go back to March 19th and just replay March 17th through like 26th when I was in Hawaii? Can we just replay it like Groundhog's Day? Just replay that week every week. So that would be the areas that we're looking for. 1745 is the next area of resistance. If we start rejecting that area, then we sell. If we go above and then pull back, then you guys know what to do. I don't need to instruct smart people on how to do things, and I refuse to instruct dumb people on how to do things. So we're just gonna let the dumb people be dumb, because you can't fix stupid. Yeah, it's a fully automated trading bot. So, and it's going to kick ass, and there's going to be a lot of people that wish they would have gotten in on it when they could, because Quinn, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be more expensive for people to get in again. Okay, so what we want to see is we either want to see a break above 1745 and then a pull back to 1745, and then we trade it back up to the 1755 area. So what I mean by breakout is 30 to 40 points. I call it dollars. So if the breakout area is 1745, you want it to break out to 1748 and then pull back to 1748, 1745, and then go back. Does that make sense? Junior Wayne is $150 a month, but for the first 30 days, it's a money back guarantee. So if you buy Jarvis and you don't like Jarvis and it sucks again, then you get your money back. So it's $150 a month though. But if after a month, so what I would do with it, if I were people doing it, I would pay the $150. I would put it on a demo account, right? And then I would trade it for the month, let it trade for the month and see how it goes. And if it loses even on your demo account, I'll give you the money back. I don't give a damn about the money. But it is something that Quinn worked really hard on, and both of us worked really hard on. So it's $150 a month, and after 30 days, if you don't like it, you can have your money back. But you have to do it for 30 days. Like I had a couple people say after a week, like, I'd like to get my money back. I'm like, that's not how it worked. It's 30 days. Well, that would be more of a question, Samurai, for QG. QG is Quinn, and so I guess that would be more of a question for him. Do you have any filters on Jarvis? There are filters. I mean, I can answer that, but Quinn can be a little bit more specific with you on what exactly they are. Yeah, Quinn, it's not that anymore. It's not. I'm saying that if people want to come back, that's not going to be. I don't want that to be what it is. I guess I'm making a decision on that I don't want people to be able to do that. So maybe it's just me. Maybe you can talk me back out of that. No, I don't, David. No, I don't. I think that, I understand people use it again, but you'll never see it on my chart. Nope. Well, it's really for the US 30. Omari, it's really for the US 30. We're working on it to be for all the indices, and I know that Quinn is working on it so that it fits in with FTMO. So he's going to program it to be able to trade your FTMO accounts with the parameters that FTMO has. So Jarvis in the future is going to be able to trade your FTMO accounts with the parameters that FTMO sets. So that'll be cool when it's being able to trade the FTMO stuff. And the nice thing about it is, again, the thing that holds us back, I think, in trading is obviously emotions. And Jarvis doesn't have emotions. No, David, no. News filter and risk. You can turn it off, Samurai, too. Like if you know that non-farm payroll is coming off, you can just turn off the auto trading, right? Oh, I see what you're saying, Quinn. Okay. FX Magic, the reason we took it was because you had some rejection and it was a pretty big low, right? So we can go over the pound yen again. But the reason I took it, and it's a little bit different setup than normal, but it did have that tail at the bottom, had a little bit of a wick. Now it has this, and it just made a major move down, right? So what I'm doing on this one is I'm just taking a very small position on it because it hasn't changed the time frame, the higher time frames, right? It hasn't changed the higher time frames, FX Magic, if that makes sense. All the major time frames from the 4-hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly are still in uptrend on GJ. Does that make sense? So all I'm looking at right now is saying, okay, it did retrace, but is it a course correction or is it just a retrace? I believe it's still a retrace because the higher time frames are still in uptrend. So I'm looking for areas to get long again, but I'm also going to add to the position if it goes lower. That's why this position is so small, because if it goes down further, I will add to it. I'm buying the dips. Yeah, I'm buying the dips. If it goes down further, guess what? I'm going to add more. And I know people are like, you add to losing positions? Yes. Yes, I do. Because I'm getting a better price to buy that asset, right? Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? Oh, that's crazy. No, it's not crazy if you plan for it, right? If you plan for it, then it's not crazy. And I've planned for this and I know the risk. And if it goes down further, I'll buy more. If it goes down to 150.76, I'll buy more. Because I've planned for it. And if I plan for my trades, then I don't worry about it. I can let this thing go. If it makes money, it makes money. If I have to buy more, eventually we're going to get the swing. So I'm swing trading this, right? Or dollar cost averaging it. Some trades I do that, some trades I don't. But I'm predicting that this is just a retrace in a higher time frame uptrend, if that makes sense. So that's why I did. I bought a dip, and the other reason is a bunch of panic, right? Everyone's thinking, oh no, this is the time. It's going to start crashing. And when the sentiment of other traders is this thing's going to die, like I said before, other traders are usually my best indicator. So other traders are my best indicator. Then I'm going to do the opposite of what most traders are doing. Does that make sense? So if Quinn says that the Jarvis evaluation version is only $24.99 a month, then that's fine. You can go, Quinn, if you'll type in the place where they can go sign up for an account at Market Wizards, we can do that. If you guys want to do April for $24.99 on Jarvis, that's fine. You got to sign up through marketwizards.group, right? I think it is, Quinn. And if they want to do that, that's fine if they want to sign up for it. So if you go to marketwizards.group, you can sign up for it. You have to get an account over there, and then you sign up for Jarvis. And if we want to do that, that's fine. But your account can only be $1,000 or less. And that's the Market Wizards group is the website that Quinn has done a fantastic job on. And this is where the test results are from Jarvis right here, the back testing. So if you look at that back testing on it, that's pretty amazing to me. But that was over 4 years, I think it was it? Yeah, so over 4 years, that was the so max drawdown of 14%. So see the 4% or the 6% was still within the parameters of that. And that's the results, and they're pretty freaking unbelievable, to be honest with you. So those are the results. So I always say to people when they said, well, it's down 6%, I said it's still within the parameters. So if it's not within the parameters and it's down more than 14 to 15%, then I worry about it. But if it's still within the parameters, then I'm not going to worry about it. So like I said, there it is. There's the results. If, like I said, if Quinn wants to do the $24.99, that's fine. You got to sign up for your Market Wizards account, and we can go from there. So if that's what Quinn wants to do, then Quinn's, I go to Quinn on that. It is, yep. It's still locked to Hanko, I think, right now, but again, that would be something you would need to ask Quinn. I don't have a website that I do trade ideas. No, I mean, Quinn and I have talked about starting to write some articles for Market Wizards, but I haven't done that yet. And he says, and that Jarvis back test is without the support and resistance, which is coming soon. So I mean, again, the Quinn has worked extremely hard on making this the best it can be, and I owe a debt of gratitude to Quinn, and I tell him that all the time. But we haven't talked as much lately. But I tell him all the time I owe a debt of gratitude to Quinn, because Quinn has worked his ass off to get this to where it is, and he has been amazing, and I really appreciate everything he's done. And once it gets with that support and resistance thing in there, it's going to be killer. And I will be switching every single one of my accounts will be switched over to Jarvis stuff here within the next month. If once the support and resistance is done, I might just walk away from everything and just have Jarvis trade everything for me. So it's without the support and resistance, right? I really want this US 30. I want this US 30 sell. This is the one I'm looking for. I really want this one. This freaking candle needs to close to give me that. Sam says, will Quinn take your idea and sell it for millions? I don't know. I don't think, I'm not worried about Quinn taking my ideas. First of all, it's not, it's not I'm not, how do I say this? Not the trading style that I'm trading, right? Samurai was here long before I started trading. It will be here long after I'm done trading. I don't own that way of trading. I don't have a patent on it. It's not mine. It's just, I don't, I'm not the first one to trade like that. I won't be the last one. So, and I don't own a patent on it. So, but I know Quinn and I are on the same page, and so I don't think it's going to be sold for millions. And anyway, I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about getting it to where it needs to be to make it the best it possibly can be for everybody. But I'm not worried about if Quinn's going to go off and sell it for millions. If he did, that's awesome. I mean, but I don't own that strategy, I guess is what I'm saying. It's not mine. I don't have a patent on it. So, no, you're fine. And so am I. I'm having a good laugh about it too. I really want to sell this thing right now. I really just want to sell the damn thing right now. Am I going to break my own rules and just sell the thing right now? Because this selling pressure on the US 30 right now I think is pretty intense, and I think it's going to drop down there to that 33,378 area at least. I think it's going to drop at least 100 points from here. I think we might get it into this area, but I'm going to follow my rules. But I think the first target would be down there if we're selling. But yeah, it's cool, man. No worries. Money is not a worry for me. So not worried about that stuff. I'm worried about getting my damn sell on the US 30. That's what I'm worried about. and waiting to see if we can't get anything else. All right, guys, I'm going to take like a 10-minute break from talking. Just because we have a little bit of time, I'm going to grab some breakfast. I'm going to obviously keep the stream up, and we'll be We'll be streaming till past noon, a little past noon Eastern. But I am going to take a break from talking because there's really nothing we can do at this point for trade-wise until we get that close of the hourly candle. So I'm going to go grab a bite to eat real quick and be back in like 10 minutes. So talk amongst yourselves, talk bad about me, whatever you want to do. I don't care. I don't know, because you might be the only person that watches Interstellar Samurai. All right, I'm back, guys. Got my 3 eggs in me for the morning, so that's good. You might be the only person that watches that, though. I don't know, maybe other people do. I don't think I've ever watched that before. I can't watch baseball anymore either. I'm boycotting baseball because of them taking the All-Star game out of Atlanta, which is completely ridiculous. Because the voting, they say that the voting law that Georgia passed is restrictive, which it's not. They're just flat out lying to you. They're flat out lying to you. It does not make voting in Georgia harder. It's a flat out lie. It's a flat out lie. So I'm boycotting baseball. I'm boycotting Coke. Anyone that is gonna get woke and say that this new voting law in Georgia is restrictive, which it's not. It's complete bullshit. It actually expands voting. And it's really interesting for Major League Baseball. We have some time, so I'm going to go on the soapbox for a minute. It's really interesting that Major League Baseball requires you to show ID to pick up your tickets. But they're getting upset over a law in Georgia that requires that you to have photo ID to vote. It's really interesting. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that Major League Baseball is getting upset about a law that requires you to have ID to vote, but they require ID to pick up your tickets at will call? It's really kind of interesting, isn't it? So they're taking the All-Star game out of Georgia because of that law. There's something else that's really funny about that too. The commissioner of baseball, Rob Manfield, he has a membership at Augusta National, which is the most prestigious golf course in America, right, where the Masters is held. Is he going to get rid of his membership at Augusta because this law is so restrictive and it's just so terrible? Then if he had any moral courage at all and he really believed in what he was saying, then he'd get rid of his membership at Augusta too, right? Probably not going to happen. It's just media bullcrap. So I love watching baseball, but I refuse to watch or support people who utterly lie about stuff. And A-Rod is only done trading until he's not done trading, which means if something sets up, I will force him to take a trade. So don't think for a second that he's done trading. He's only done trading unless something sets up. So he thinks he's done trading until we say, no, you're not done trading. Anyway, so I just think that I just wish the media in the United States is just a bunch of idiots, and they're a bunch of people who lie for a living. I mean, you have media outlets like CNN that says that places like Fox News should get banned because of disinformation, yet CNN like literally was disinformation for 4 years. They said that Trump was a Russian asset. No proof of that. I mean, they lied. CNN lied for years, and they're trying to get other platforms removed for disinformation. I mean, how much of a hypocrite can CNN be, or any of those left-wing places that now want to get rid of conservative media because of disinformation, when literally that's all they did for 4 years was spread disinformation. It's just unbelievable. It is trash right now, man, but it's going to break out one way or the other pretty soon, I would imagine. I would imagine it's going to break out pretty soon, one way or the other, and then we're just going to have to be ready for which way it breaks out. But let's just go right now while we wait, because we have a few minutes. Let's just do what we usually do, right? Now is a good time to put in the work on the US 30. So if we start from April 5th, right, and we go April 5th, every time we've had a candle that's longer than the tail longer than the body. That would be your first one, right? Well, I don't know because I don't have a president right now. Because again, like we said, the left always said when Trump was president, not my president, not my president, not my president, remember? So if it was good for them to do and they could say that, then I get to say it too for this guy that's a complete dementia idiot. And I get to say, not my president, not my president. Because if it was fair for them to do it, it's only fair that I get to be able to do it too, right? So I get to say, not my president, not my president. Because that's what the left did the whole time. So... All right, so it doesn't look like we've had a bevy of opportunities. I mean, there's some that were, the tail on the wick on it. That doesn't look like there's, this one right here was, and you might have lost on that one, right? This one's pretty close, but you have the wick at the top. Frying pan into the fire, yeah, well, just saying that, the Democrats and the left they love to make rules that they expect everyone to adhere to except for themselves. I guess it's the same on both sides, but the things that are happening in America right now are crazy. Okay, so you had this one example here that would have worked out really well. You haven't had real clear signals since then. You had this one here and maybe you lost, right? So we need it to kind of pick a direction, and then we can go with the direction, right? We can, obviously the overall trend is up, but if you would have entered this trade, your stop loss is always 200 points on the US 30 for me. So you never would have gotten stopped out of that trade, I don't think, because it made a low of, you would have gotten in at 33,456. Yeah, you never would have got stopped out, and then you would have made money on that one, even that one. And I always say to place your stops at break even at plus 40 or plus 50. So this week, just doing it, you would have been fine. So if we get the pattern, we just trade the pattern because the numbers dictate that we do. It's really so simple. It's just really simple. I know it's hard for people to understand, but it's so simple. It's so simple, people. Okay, so if we get that, I know I am, man. I'm so like I told you yesterday, A-Rod, my self-esteem and my self-worth is all bundled up in whether or not I can get 10 more people. Like my self-esteem and my self-worth is going to be extremely heightened on whether or not I can get 10 more subscribers on YouTube. And of course I'm joking because I really don't care. But I did notice that. So my self-worth, I tell you what, it's just going to be boosted so much by whether or not I get that. I'm all tied up in it, man. My value, my life depends on whether or not I can get 10 more followers on YouTube for 1,000. Yay! I'm telling you. I'm going to, man. Let's just make sure we do that right now. Let's just make sure we do it. And feeling kind of sassy today. So maybe I'll take my 30 accounts that I have on YouTube and I'll dislike it every time with multiple accounts. Maybe I'll just dislike it. Oh, I'm going to, Samurai. Absolutely. There you go. There's one. Let's see how many more times we can dislike it. I'm going to, man. I don't care. That's how much I care whether or not. Okay, there's one. Not for me. Yep, see, not for me. There's two. This shows you how much I care, whether or not. Let's see how many of these I can do. The nice thing about it is, there you go. See, there's another one. Let's see how many more we can do here. There's another one. I'm just making a point of how much I give a damn about YouTube or any of this crap, to be honest with you. Oh, I could have just done it there. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm doing it, man. Every freaking one of these that I have is going to be I encourage everyone else to do the same. I really, really do. I do. There's another one. Let's see, how many more of these can I do? How many more can I do? Let's freaking go. Oh, well, don't worry, man. It's not going to be even for a minute. There you go. Look at that, son of a gun. Look at that. Not now. Not now. It's not even now. Look at that. Oh, it's so much better now. Look at that. Beautiful. Unfreaking believable. Amazing. Excuse me. It makes my heart swell knowing that I've disliked it like 7 times. There is another one. How many more do we got? I think we only got one more I can do. There. Look at this. Son of a gun. There it is. There. I've done them all. I can't do any more. It won't allow me to do any more. So how many is that? How many is that now? How many is that? I don't have any more accounts to do it with. I think I have like 7. Let's see, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's 10. I keep getting kicked out of your favorite streams, man. I got to make up new names. I keep getting kicked out because I think I'm a nice person, but apparently they just keep kissing me out. No, wait, man. Hit the dislike buttons. That's how you can show the love for me, Samurai. You can hit the dislike button. You can hit the dislike button. That's how you can show love for me. See, again, just doing the opposite of what other traders do. They want the like buttons. Just click the dislike. I don't care. I don't know. I have no idea. But I know I got kicked out of Samurai's buddy's stream several times. It's actually a running joke to see if I can go in there and how long it is before they realize it's me. I haven't done it for a while. I haven't been in there for like a week or 2, but I got kicked out of that one. I don't know if I got kicked out of Quarterly or not. Maybe. I know I haven't gotten kicked out with my other accounts on hers, but it's possible. I get kicked out of everywhere, man. People don't like truth. Todd kicks everyone out. BB, it's really funny. I hadn't listened to BB's stream for a long time, but I actually ended up listening to BB this morning just for a little bit, but I didn't try and... Yeah, Todd if you make one little comment about the Scottish man, then he'll kick you out. He'll kick you out, which is fine. Do whatever you want. I usually don't kick people out because I like to I like to embarrass them. I really just like to embarrass them. And that's kind of, I think, the same thing that Jeff does too. There's 2 ways to handle trolls. You either just ignore them and ban them, or you just expose them for being morons. And usually I like doing that. Yeah, he doesn't get his feelings hurt. I've said to you many times, I actually, like I said, we had our beefs too, but I really enjoy listening to his streams. It happens in the middle of the night for me, so I usually I'm not up. But if I'm up and he's live, usually I'll listen to him. Yeah, but you do like Controller, Samurai. You do like that stream. And that's the stream I was talking about. I've been kicked out of there like 150 times. I've been kicked out of there like 150 times. Rightfully so, too. I mean, I probably should have been kicked out 150 times. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe. Oh, you've never seen it. Okay. Yeah, we're thinking differently. Sorry. We're thinking differently. That's my fault. It's either have sex with exactly, A-Rod. I mean, when it comes to the nighttime, when it comes to the nighttime, when it comes to about 10 o'clock Eastern at night, my focus goes to, am I going to be able to have sex with my wife tonight? Like again last night too. Am I going to be able to have sex with my wife? What can I do to make it so that there's a good chance that I could get to bang the wife tonight? That's usually what my mind goes to most of the time. So you're right. Will this decision of mine that I'm making right now, will it make it harder or easier for me to have sex with my wife at the end of the night? I mean, it's such a... Of course it's a no-brainer, man. It's a no-brainer. But you know what the really good thing about it is, Samurai? Smashing the wife and making money at the same time. Like if you can do both of those things, like if you can be smashing the wife while you're making money, I mean, you are the god of all gods at that point. If you can multitask like that, if you can multitask and be getting the business with the wife and making money at the same time, I mean, how good are you, right? How good are you at that point? That is the icing on the cake. But you know, us people who are getting older, 44, I mean, last Friday, let me just put this away. Last Friday night, every Friday is date night for my wife and I, right? Date night is Friday night. Last Friday night, I'm telling you, whew, it was a freaky night. That's all I'm going to say. It was kind of freaky. It's kind of freaky, man. I'm getting older. I'm not able to usually go multiple times, but I'm telling you, Friday night, multiple times. It's kind of interesting. It's a little bit freaky. That's all I'm going to say. It's getting a little weird in here. We're trying to trade. We shouldn't be talking about that, but I'm telling you, man, when a 44-year-old dude, old guy, can do it multiple, I'm telling you, man, it's quite the night. Watching a movie, just, I mean, come on. I will tell you a story though. I've never told, most of you guys have never heard this story. Samurai might have heard this story. And then we'll get back to the trading because we have about 9 minutes left. We were in Alaska one time fishing. And this is no fucking joke. We were in Alaska fishing one time in our boat and we're trolling for kings. Okay. We're in the middle of we're in the bay, but no one around. And my wife literally strips down to nothing, and she's just sunbathing in the back of the boat. And after like an hour and a half, she puts all her clothes on. She's like, hello, like, what are you doing? I was literally naked the whole time. I'm like, I'm fishing. What are you talking? I'm fishing. And she's like, so she's always teased me that's the one thing that I want more than that. I was fishing. She's like, hello, I'm freaking naked in the back here. I'm like, I'm fishing. So she probably didn't like that very much, huh? All right, we got 8 minutes left. The pound yen is obviously looking like we have the signal on the pound yen. It's looking like we have the signal on the US 30 if it closes like this. If we don't get anything in the next few minutes, then I will end the stream here for today. But we definitely look like we possibly could have it on the US 30. Yeah, so she wasn't very happy with me that day. She's like, I'm sitting here waiting. I'm like, well, yeah, you can wait all you want. I'm freaking fishing. So we have that one and we have that one that looks like there could be opportunities on both of those here in a minute. How are we doing on the likes and dislikes though, A-Rod? How are we doing on that? Do we have enough? Yeah, I'm fishing. Hello. Hello, don't worry about it. I'm fishing. I'm fishing. I'm fishing. Good. I'm glad they are. That makes me happy. Okay, guys, so there's a really good chance that we'll get an opportunity on the US 30. So the question is that you have to ask yourself again is you go over all the analysis, and you know you're going to be right more times than you're going to be wrong. Do you take the trade if you get the pattern or not? Irregardless of whatever, irregardless of anything else that's going on in the markets or wherever it is, if you get the pattern, do you take the trade? Yeah. Well, I'm going to be going to Alaska here in about a week and a half, so. So if we get the pattern, there should be no other emotions in trading, right? We just take the trade, and we know we're going to be right. Whether or not we're hitting up against kind of a couple areas on the US 30 that would be, I guess, somewhat of a concern, right? Because you're tapping up against some areas. You take the trade no matter what, right? Just like we did on the NAS on the last hour. If that setup is there, and your stop losses are below 33,419, your target areas are up in here, and you take the trade because the numbers dictate that you take the trade, right? Whether or not anything else is happening in the next 4 minutes, if it says to do it, you do it, right? Would everyone agree? Would everyone agree with that, or would they not agree? The pattern says to do it, you freaking do it. And the pattern most likely is going to say to do it. Because that's what the numbers say, right? And I trust the numbers. I trust that the majority of the time the numbers are going to be right. Oh, I'm going to do it, A-Rod. I'm going to frickin' do it if it's there. I'm going to do it. I'm going to, man. You can't talk me out of it. If it's there, it's there. If it's not there, it's not there. It is very bullish, the structure. Okay. I will be back in like 2 minutes, guys. All right, is it there? Is it there? Is it there? Yeah, it's there. This is like waiting for, actually it's not like waiting for anything. A-Rod, make an executive decision for us, A-Rod. We freaking going or no, we not going? Make an executive decision for us, A-Rod. Oh, see, at the last minute it's gonna cramp our style at the last minute. Okay, there it is. It's ranging, huh? Okay. Well, I'll do it for you. How about that? How about that? Damn it. There you go. I'm doing it, and my stop loss has to be below 34,419. So GJ does look better. So if you want to take the GJ, you can do that. You can look at other pairs. My stop loss is 200 pips always. That's what my stop is until I get up 40 or 50. So the stop loss is going to be 33,303. And if I lose, I lose. The numbers dictate that I take this trade, so I'm taking the trade. So there it is. Stop loss of 200 pips, as you can see, way down there. And that's the way it'll go. And if I get up 40 or 50 points, the stop loss will be at break even. So you can see my green line where the stop is. All right, guys. Thank you for coming in today. Appreciate it. Like we say at the end of every stream, be kind to people. Say a nice word to someone. You never know what a kind word won't mean to someone who's having a hard day. Everyone's kind of struggling. Laughter is a wonderful medicine. I've already disliked my stream 100 times, and that makes it awesome. But make it a goal to try and say something nice to somebody today. Brighten their day. And we will see all of you tomorrow, maybe. Have a wonderful day, guys. We'll talk to you later.